Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am Josh Samuel, and after just a few minutes ago, that's still a okay thing to say. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I am joined by brother Fran and brother Jordan. Brother Fran, brother Jordan, I apologize for the technical difficulties on my end. I got some jacked up shit. But other than that, how you guys doing, man?
I mean, I've been doing great. I mean, yeah, there's some technical difficulties that we just figured out, so everything's all right.
Good, good, good. Seems like my nerves are calm now, so we can get back to what we were saying. Now, brother Fran, man, like I was saying, there is an Ayer cut. We all saw Suicide Squad back in 2016. And David Ayer, especially this year, has been talking about his Ayer cut of Suicide Squad. And just last month, he said on God that it is the better version of Suicide Squad. But there's a lot of divisiveness amongst the masses, so it seems, as opposed to the Snyder cut, where it seemed like everybody was in unison. Because there are those who seem to think that A, the Ayer cut won't make things better, or B, we should just move on. And again, David Ayer said on God his cut is the better version of Suicide Squad. But what's your thoughts on that, man?
Well, I mean, I 100% believe him. Like most, I mean, I'm gonna be conservative. Be like 95% of the time, the
Mm-hmm.
cut that the director chooses is the better version.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, it's his movie. Like he's the one who's deciding and making the right decisions. So I
Mm-hmm.
am 100% sure that he's right. I think that it is the better movie, and I honestly believe that even though most people say that it's a done deal, that that is, I mean, it's only natural for it to come out. I think that we don't have to, I mean, get too far away from it. Like we have to still talk about it. We have to, you know, give it conversation, because if not, it might die down. And I don't know. I think that we all know how Warner Brothers works, so
Mm-hmm.
let's not give them any reason to even doubt the release. I think that
Right.
we should be still talking about it every time David Ayer posts any photo or whatever he posts. I think that we should keep using the hashtag tagging HBO Max and whatever, because if not, if the conversation dies down, I don't know what the hell can happen. And I don't want to, I mean, I don't think that anyone here wants to be in that situation of, oh, now we have to redo everything that we have lost. So keep talking about it, keep asking for it, and fight for another director's vision, as the same thing that we did for Sax.
Absolutely. And Fran, before I proceed to Brother Jordan, does it matter to you what you thought of the OG cut that we saw in theaters? Does that is that a concern of yours, man?
What David thought of it, or what I thought of it. Because I didn't like it at all, but I am sure that David had to say whatever he had to say. Like, I think there's a press junket where he says, like, oh no, this is totally my version of the movie, and this is
Mm-hmm.
100% my movie. This is all PR stuff. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he had to say, and that's it. I think that him, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that he shot in there, so I don't think he hates it. But it's like, I have this better version that I know it's better right here. So when my version comes out, I'm not going to even take a glimpse at the other version. I think that's what might go through his mind right now.
Facts. Facts. Brother Jordan, man, what's your thought on the Ayer cut naysayers, man?
Uh, man, I don't even understand them. Like, what harm is it doing? That's what I asked them. What harm is it doing by letting a director release his version of a movie? And the
Mm-hmm.
answer is no one. The studio doesn't lose money. The
Mm-hmm.
actors don't get upset or offended. Oh no, they released the movie we were supposed to make. Like, what a terrible thing. Um, No, like it's like totally. By this point, if you're against the Suicide Squad cut or the Snyder
Mm-hmm.
cut for that matter, it's completely ridiculous, and it just shows you how kind of elitist the film kind of world can be. Because
Mm-hmm.
Francis Ford Coppola just released another version of Apocalypse Now. He just released another version. He's going to release another version of The Godfather 3. And people are creaming their jeans over that. And they're like freaking out. And they're like, this is going to be amazing. It's like, guys, why does Coppola get a pass and these other directors don't? It just shows their inherent bias against certain directors. And you can say
Mm-hmm.
because maybe it's because David Ayer hasn't proved himself, but I think that's BS. I think that that's all subjective, and artists and directors should be able to release their true versions of the movie if that's what they want to do. So that's what I'd say to the naysayers and the haters.
God damn. Yeah. But agree with both y'all. And like I said the last time, if you're for creative freedom, if you're for a director having his vision out there for the masses to see, as Brother Fran and Brother Jordan both put it in so many words, what harm is it going to do? It's not going to do any harm. You're still going to get your precious The Suicide Squad by James Gunn next year. We still have Birds of Prey. David Ayer should have his original intended movie out there for the world to see. Speaking of Suicide Squad, Brother Jordan, man, what's your thought on Jared Leto's Joker appearing in Justice League, the Snyder Cut? And do you think we'll end up seeing more of his character beyond Justice League and beyond the Ayer Cut?
I think it's awesome. I think it's really cool that he comes back. I don't feel like I got to see enough of him to really like judge his version of the Joker, but I really liked what I saw so far. And
Mm-hmm.
I think Snyder talked a little bit about he and Jared Leto had several conversations about it, and it wasn't just an easy yes or a quick kind of thing. They really talked about what they wanted to do with the character. Um,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't see why Jared Leto would necessarily want to come back, like hop into that saddle, because you know his character was cut up a whole bunch in Suicide Squad, and they used a double for him in Birds of Prey, and he was not
Mm-hmm.
critically well received. So I don't see him super eager to return to that role, but the fact that they were able to talk about it and really have some long conversations about the character, I think that shows that whether or not they do more stuff, it shows that there's a lot of heart in thoughtfulness going into this version. I think it would
Mm-hmm.
be, I think it'd be strange to bring him back if there's not. Well, on one hand, I could see it being where Jared Leto's like, okay, I'll do it one more time and then I won't do it again. But then on the other hand, I could see it going the way of there might be more of this if you're interested, but let's just kind of dip our toes in the water for now. So I don't know. I think it's now that he's back for Suicide Squad, I think it's more likely that he'd be back in Justice League 2 or the Batman, um, a Batfleck HBO Max series if he decided to do that. But really, it seems all kind of up in the air still. So I don't know. But I think it's more likely now than it was a year ago, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Brother Fran, man, what's your thought on Jared Leto's Joker appearing in the Snyder Cut? And do you think there's a chance we'll see more of his character beyond the Snyder Cut and beyond the Ayer Cut?
Well, honestly, I think that this is all supply and demand. So if he appears in Justice League and everyone loves it, and they are like, oh, in Suicide Squad we didn't get to see this side of the character or this side of Jared's acting, and now
Mm-hmm.
we love him. I'm sure they will fit him like anywhere they can. Like if finally Ben Affleck wants to do the Batman series, I'm sure that he will come back. Because
Mm-hmm.
like Zach said, if he just called him, like, hey, do you want to do this after 3 years? And he said yes, I think that he's pretty eager to play the character. I think that he's pretty eager to show that he worked very hard in that role, and that what we saw in Suicide Squad, those 10 minutes are not even scratching the surface of what he's able to do as Joker or what he worked so hard for. I think that he has like that little burn or whatever you want to call it, that is like, I want to redeem myself. And if he redeems, if he's eager to come back, because he's come back, essentially he's come back to do these scenes. So if he's willing to come back and do like 2 minutes worth of scenes, if Ben Affleck calls him and he's like, hey, do you want to do this 4-hour miniseries about this script that we had? I'm sure he's going to come back. And I honestly believe that if people give him a second chance and understand that the product that we saw with Suicide Squad was like 99% not his fault, I think that we can see this Joker come back for a multiple amount of projects.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there was a point where he was supposed to have his own solo movie, and there were mixed reports about, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker kind of pushing his standalone film out of the way. So hopefully it's something that does happen, because Jared Leto is a very talented actor, and I believe in his ability to play the character. And yeah, it's unfortunate that at the time, WB was scared. So, they just did whatever and made sure, we didn't see the full potential of his performance as Joker. Speaking of Batman, brother Fran, man, I asked you this the last time. Would you prefer to see Ben Affleck's The Batman come back in a movie form or a series form if he decides that he does want to come back?
Well, I'm accepting whatever he wants to do. If he thinks that a miniseries is the right choice, go for it. If he thinks that a movie fits better his script, go for it. I just want to see as much content as I can, but also I like respecting what he wants to do. Like if he's like, oh no, I just want to do like 2 hours and a half, then that's it. But if he's like, oh, they're giving me money to make like 4 1-hour episodes like the Snyder Cut, go for it. Like I don't have a problem with it. This post-COVID era, not post-COVID era, I think that we're still in it, sadly. But like we are in the COVID era where movies are not getting released. So I think that it's more attractive to someone who is paying for a streaming service like HBO Max to say, hey, there's like this miniseries with movie budget that can really, really work for you to see. Like you don't have to sit out in one watching. You can go watching it week to week and get hooked to it like people get with Stranger Things or whatever. So in terms of business, I think that it makes sense for it to be a miniseries. In terms of whatever creative decisions Ben wants to do, I am 100% behind him on whatever the fuck he wants to do.
I agree. Brother Jordan, man, what's your thought, man? Do you have a preference of a series or a movie, or what's your thought, brother?
I'm with Fran. I think whatever Ben Affleck wants to do, I think that's what they should do. I don't whatever he wants to do, I just don't want it to be compromised in any way. So if he wants to do a movie, let him do a movie. If he wants to do a show, let him do a show. I think we've talked about this before, but I would prefer a movie because I just prefer movies. But at the same time, it's awesome to have like hours and hours of more Batfleck, which would be pretty exciting. So really, it doesn't really matter that much to me. But yeah, I just think whatever Ben Affleck wants to do is what they should do.
Yeah. I'm of the mindset, it doesn't really matter. Hopefully, it does happen after the Flash, but only if Ben wants to come back and, WB, lets him do whatever he wants to do, because there are so many different story arcs and so many different characters that you can bring to the limelight with a series, but you can tell just as good of a story with a movie as well. So ultimately, it really doesn't matter. Thanks, Kal-El. Salute to you too as well, brother, and salute to Fran, and salute to brother Jordan Ros as well. Moving on. Now, brother Fran, we've wanted this for years and years. It seems now. My hairline is not coming back any further. Uh, we've talked about Henry Cavill as Superman, and in September there was a report that he had signed on for 3 more appearances. Now, beyond Zack Snyder's Justice League, we don't know much about what the future holds for Henry in the DCEU, nor do we know what his next appearance will be. Uh, and there's this whole thing about confirmation over rumors that I talked about with a few of the guys in the Elite Army. And I think that's very important that, we wait for something to be confirmed as opposed to it being rumored. Uh, Obviously, we want the best for Henry. We do want him to continue as Superman. But what's your thought on the Superman rumors, man?
Well, I mean, we've been told over the last 2 years that he's signed. Like it's a done deal. It should be official in a couple of weeks, and they've been telling us that for like 2 years now. So I believe there's been negotiations. I believe there's some advancement. I believe that he's going to get a new contract and appear in Black Adam versus Shazam. I think it's the movie, and I don't know. I think that it's going to be official, but I think that we should all relax with it. I think that it's something that will come out naturally, so we don't have to really push it. I mean, in terms of get our expectations in place, because over the last 2 years they've been like, oh yeah, it's a done deal, and then nothing happens. So we should be eager that there's this thing, the ball is rolling and there's some things being talked about. But at the same time, like a lot of people have been speculating about a second season of the Snyder Cut for Justice League 2. If HBO Max green lights that, he's gonna come back as Superman. So it's like everyone is focusing too much on the solo Superman contract or the DCEU contract, but you have to think that if the Snyder Cut is the hit that it's going to be, that is probably going to be, if it hits that big and HBO Max is like, here, Zach, give us like the second season, here are like $180 million, he's gonna come back. So I think that while focusing on that aspect of his character of appearing in Shazam or his own movie, we have to also understand that there's a high chance that he may come back for HBO Max. So I don't know. I mean, I am tired of rumors and all that. So I'm just like, hey, listen, wait and see. I think that they are negotiating, but maybe the deal comes out in like 5 months. So don't be like losing your mind because there's nothing signed, because these things take time, and bloggers and these scoopers, as the people call them, they tend to play with people's emotions so they can have those clicks and those views. So yeah, don't get your hopes too up. Just be reasonable and understand that these things take time.
I got you. Brother Jordan, man, what's your thought on this whole Henry Cavill Superman situation that we've been, losing hair over and wondering what's what and hoping for the best, but knowing that it's WB, not hearing a damn thing for like the past 4 years, it seems like. What's your thought on it, man?
Yeah. Well, I think it's one of those wait and see kind of things. I think I think Henry's Superman is so tied into Snyder's plan that I'm not sure how likely it would be if they greenlit Justice League 2 and 3 and whatever else. I think Henry would probably be one of the stars of those, and he probably wouldn't do a solo Superman film for a while more. But if they decided to not go forward with Justice League 2 and 3, then I think Henry does have some more room to. Then I think they would probably go for a solo Superman movie. Because again, remember, I mean, his arc was planned out as a Lord of the Rings style beginning, middle, and end, according to Snyder's plan. Now, if they ditch the plan, then they can do whatever they want. They can do solo Supermans, they can do Supergirl, they can do all that stuff. But for the time being, I think it really depends on how successful the Snyder Cut is, which I'm predicting it's going to do really well. And I think they will ask Snyder to do Justice League 2, but that's just my opinion. That's just my speculation. So I would imagine that Henry Cavill is pretty much a lock for Superman if they do Justice League 2. If they decide to do solo super movie, I'm not so sure. But like, it's just a big wait and see kind of thing. I'm just excited we're getting his true performance in the Justice League movie. Like if we're going to get, it was a real bummer when our last glimpse at that Superman was the Justice League messed up zombie face Joss Whedon written kind of whatever nonsense that was. But to get a final, like an actual final performance from Henry Cavill, or tentatively final performance of Superman, I'm really excited about that, and I'm just happy we get more of that.
Absolutely. Brother Jordan, man, now Brother Fran talked a little bit about it earlier, and you talked about it as well. Now we all fought, not just me, us three, but everybody fought for Zack Snyder's Justice League to see release, and it will be released next year. And Zack has a lot for the fans coming out beyond just his Justice League movie. He has Army of the Dead, which seems like it's going to also become its own sort of trilogy with an animated series spinoff. And he's also doing some sort of mythological show. I think that's based on Norse mythology with Jay Oliva. Shout out to him. With that all in the back burner and everything else, how likely, for those listening, how likely do you think Justice League 2 is? No. Close.
I have no idea, if I'm completely honest. I think over the past few months, I've actually been pretty confident that they would do Justice League 2. And then after, I can't remember which stream Snyder appeared on. Someone asked him about possibilities for future, and he really seemed to not really have a clue. And he seemed to be okay with that. And I don't know if that was just him kind of, putting on an act, because, he's so good at that. I remember when he announced the Snyder Cut, it looked like he wasn't going to announce it on that Man of Steel podcast, or that stream. And I genuinely was crushed near the end of that, because I thought, oh no, it's not going to happen. And then he revealed it, and he's just really good at that. So, I mean, I really don't know. I think my gut is telling me that it's going to happen. It's just not a done deal right now. But, it could be a done deal right now. They just want to keep it a secret and kind of play it close to the chest. So I feel pretty confident that he will be wanting to finish this. And then, of course, there's the issue of, okay, Snyder's on board, the studio's on board. Now he's got to kind of group everybody else who was a part of that original vision. So that might take a while, and that might add some complications, but, we'll see. But I still feel pretty confident. I just, at the same time, I really don't know. I don't have any logic to go off of, really. So we'll see.
Yeah. Hopefully it is a thing, and hopefully he does get to finish his trilogy. Brother Fran, man, what's your thought? For those listening, do you think that Justice League 2 is likely after Zack Snyder's Justice League is finally out there? Do you think that is something that we'll also have to continue fighting for as well?
Well, honestly, I think that they understand, talking about HBO Max, I think that they understand there's a demand already for a season 2, but I think that they are playing the conservative side and saying, hey, listen, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's see how the Snyder Cut does. Let's see the numbers. Let's see how much people talk about it, and then we will make the decision. Now, have they had talks about it? I am 100% sure that they have had talks with Zack, like, hey, listen, in the hypothetical case that this were to happen, how will we do it? Well, how much will it cost? I'm sure that they've talked about that. But in terms of some people saying like, oh, why don't they announce it already? Why don't they greenlight the season 2? Well, they have to wait and see. Like for now, it is doing great. Like the buzz around it, the views, the talk about it, it's huge. But they have to see the real deal. Like once those 4 episodes drop, and then they see the viewership, they're going to say, we are greenlighting a second season or we are not. So I am pretty confident that it is going to get like the numbers that it has to get. So I believe if you have to ask me to bet, I would bet that there will be a second season. Because right now the buzz around it, if it transforms into views, it's going to be such a great hit that they are going to be like, hey, I'm not going to leave all this money on the table. Here's 200 million, go and do season 2 or something like that. That's what I believe.
Right on. Brother Fran, man, do you think that Martian Manhunter's role in Justice League is probably going to be a minor one? And shout out to Harry Lennox, by the way. Or do you think it's going to be more significant than we may know?
I think he's going to be like this quick cameo because like we know 100% that he's not in the third act. Like we know that. So I think that they are going to introduce him. I think that it's going to be a cool Easter egg in the movie. Like, oh, this guy from the last 2 movies was this guy. Oh, this is awesome. But I think like you said, I think that it's going to be a minor role. Now, if season 2 happens, I think that he's going to get a much bigger role. Like I think he's going to become like a normal team member. But in terms of Zack Snyder's Justice League, I think he's gonna be just this quick cameo, and that's it.
Nice. Brother Jordan, man, what do you think? Do you think that his role will be minor, his role being Martian Manhunter, or do you think it'll be a little bit more significant than we all realize?
I think it'll probably be a minor role. Because we know for fact, gosh, I'm so bad at all these details, but I know that Harry Lennox and Zack Snyder, they've talked about how he was originally in the Justice League script a lot more than he was. And then and then when they talked about it, like just before they went off to shoot Justice League, Snyder had told Harry that, hey, don't worry about it, we'll get you in there somehow. And obviously now we know that it was that little cameo when it's revealed that it's Martha, or that he was in disguise as Martha at one point. So we know for a fact he's going to be in there. He might appear in the final, like, third act, that battle. We really don't know because, I mean, again, it's a 4-hour movie. We haven't seen, I mean, we kind of know how the third act goes, but we really don't. There's so much missing there. So I think it's possible that a CG Martian Manhunter will appear. I think that's totally within the realm of possibilities because Harry Lennox wouldn't have had to have been there. That's a character they could have been working on, CG without kind of any like actors there or anything like that. And that's just kind of a quick post thing. So I think there's a possibility that he might appear in a larger role, but I really think it's just a cameo role, setting him up to be in the future Justice League movies if they were to happen.
Gotcha. Brother Fran, Brother Jordan, we were shocked, but I wasn't terribly surprised. I'm kind of glad they're doing it. I'm just worried for my friends like you, Brother Fran, overseas that may not be able to see it, but we don't know anything as of yet. For those that don't know what I'm talking about, Wonder Woman 84 is going to be not only releasing in theaters still on December 25th, but it will also premiere on HBO Max at no extra cost, unlike Milan, which costs like $30-something, which nobody paid for, I hope. But it's going to be on HBO Max, and it's also going to premiere in theaters. And it's been a long time coming getting this movie out. It was supposed to release last year, and then it just kept getting delayed. And with the COVID pandemic that's affecting people everywhere, it also affected its release as well. And I suspect that AT&T and Warner Brothers just want to go ahead and get it out there. And HBO Max to me is a great great way to make it get more money. Brother Fran, man, what's your thought? I hope I'm not echoing, but what's your thoughts, brother?
Well, I mean, I am kind of like you said, like there's uncertainty on what's gonna happen for the people outside of the US.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think that these deals that they are doing right now are going to be all done before Wonder Woman 84 because they are taking a high risk releasing it on HBO Max and on theaters at the same time, but theaters are going to be secondary. So if they don't want to lose a lot of money, if, like you said, they are not charging more for it, so props to them. Like, you have to give them credit when it's necessary. Like, they are not charging you anymore like some other streaming services are doing. So props to them. But I don't know. I think that they have to really push the machine like this month and a half. I think that they have to really push it in terms of get deals done to make it as international as possible, and push the machine to make it 4K. Like the streaming right now doesn't support 4K. So it's like people at home are going to be like, oh, Wonder Woman 84, it's great. I've been waiting for this movie for so long, and they have these great TVs, and I'm going to watch it in 4K. This is going to be amazing. And then you're going to give them like a 1080p stream. And it's going to be like, you know, like it might sound silly, but it is important for people. Like, hey, I can't watch it on theaters, but I can watch it at home, 4K, HDR, perfect sound. I think it's going to be great. But if you don't have 4K HDR, then there's something missing there. And you can't have a triple A of a movie like Wonder Woman 84 and not have 4K support. So they have to really get done that 4K HDR support and those international deals, because I know that there's people internationally who are willing to pay HBO Max, not only for the Snyder Cut, that's the vast majority, but for things like this, like Wonder Woman 84 and some other movies or series. Right. So, like for myself, when people ask me, well, don't worry about it, just pirate it like the same, like the next day and you're fine. I'm like, no, I want to pay. Like, I honestly want to pay for this streaming service, so there's like a second season and to show that there's money to be done. Like, SAG brings money. So I want to pay. Like, HBO Max, listen to me. I want to give you money. Allow me to give you money. I just want to give it to you. But yeah. I believe that they are going to get deals. But if they are planning to release Wonder Woman 84 this early, you better be doing them right now.
For real. A shout out to Why Not Stuff. He says Fran wants 4K so he can gift the hell out of that movie. Right on.
Yeah, hey, that's my secret agenda, bro. Why do you have to expose me like that? Don't do it like that, bro.
Oh man. But yeah, on a serious note, man, like I hope that they get something done very, very quickly, because, you know, like Fran said, there's not just an audience for the Snyder Cut, there's an audience for the Wonder Woman 84 as well. And, you know, Wonder Woman is tied to Zack Snyder. He discovered Gal Gadot. So, you know, they gotta get this done. With that said, brother Jordan, man, what's your thought on this whole streaming thing for Wonder Woman 84?
I think it's a great idea. And I mean, this has never ever happened before, especially, I mean, it might have happened with a smaller movie, but never with a movie of this size. So I think this is a great testing ground, because, you know, people are going to want to see it. Safety wise, obviously this is a movie that begs to be seen on the big screen. So it's great that it'll be released in theaters where it's safe to do that. It's great that it's on HBO Max for free for subscribers and everything. I think that's really cool too. Especially because, I mean, I think Disney Plus got a lot of people signed up for that when that released. I don't think as many people signed up for HBO Max. So when Disney released Mulan, they weren't like thinking, how do we get subscribers? They're thinking, how do we make more money? I don't think HBO Max is trying to make more money. They're thinking, how do we get more subscribers? And putting Wonder Woman 84, a movie that everyone wants to see, on there will do that. So I think that makes a lot of sense why they do that. I think they still have to figure out international distribution. That's something they have to look at, because you don't want this pirated.
Right.
And of course, if there's no other way to watch it, then like it's going to be really hard to resist that temptation. So they got to figure that out. They also, like Fran said, 4K is something that they should figure out. Especially for the folks who watch it at home. I mean, this will be the first time that, unless there's a theater open near me, this will be the first time that, I sit down and watch a new DC movie just on my couch. Because I've seen all of them in theaters since, I can't even remember. So it will be weird not to have that movie theater experience. So making the experience at home feel a little more special will be, anything they can do will just be so much appreciated, and just make it feel like kind of like going to the movies a little bit again. But again, those are just little things. I think this is an awesome move on their part. And I really hope this becomes, COVID's not going to let up, especially in the United States, because of many reasons. But this would be a nice kind of new normal if this became standard. Release it in theaters where it's safe to do that, but then release it on HBO Max for free. I think that's a really cool idea.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And I think with the more streaming services we get, the more this is going to, as you alluded to, is going to be a more likely thing as well. So just gotta get it for my brothers overseas and everything else like that, and we'll be good to go. Brother Fran, brother Jordan, now this week was a special week. We celebrated the anniversary of what we all, and I don't just mean us specifically, I mean everybody that tweeted it once, tweeted it 10 times, maybe tweeted it 100 times. This was the anniversary for those that tweeted hashtag release the Snyder cut last year and got it well over 1 million, where the world had to watch us do it. But it was also where we hashtagged us united, and everybody also brought attention to the ASFP. And it's a great thing to look back at November 17th, because like I preached the last time we tried to do this, it didn't matter that, Fran is somewhere, Jordan Ros is somewhere, I'm somewhere, and it didn't matter that I may have liked Shazam or I may have liked this Geoff Johns creation, but I didn't like this one. It didn't matter that I knew this person or so-and-so knew this person. None of that shit really mattered, because we all shared that common love for what Zack Snyder did in Man of Steel and BVS, and more than likely his other movies as well. And we were just focused on bringing attention to hashtag release the Snyder cut at the time, and also, making more people aware of what really went down. What's your thought on all this, brother Fran? How far we've all come, Zack himself and his family, and not just getting the movie out there, but also, people donating to the ASFP and bringing attention to suicide prevention?
Well, I think it's great. Like, I remember last year, November 17th, with all the lead up. Like that week, we had a lot of lead up of, what's going to happen on the 17th, what's going to happen. Snyder kept throwing images every day, and we made it trend every day. So I remember that day that it felt like the day before you are going to, for example,
get late.
What?
Get late.
Yeah, that too. But like, I compared it to like when you were a kid and they told you tomorrow we are going to go to a roller coaster park. Like that hype, that being so nervous but happy nervous. Like I felt like a child, like watching everyone tweet it out, when Zach tweeted it out, when Gal tweeted it out, when Ben tweeted it out, when Ray tweeted it out. It felt like Christmas, like it felt surreal. So I am incredibly happy that we all got together in that specific date. I think that was the time where everyone was together, like with confidence, not like, oh, we have to be together and I don't want to be here. No, I think that everyone came together that week and we showed what we are capable of. And I think that people should look more into that those days, because if you think about it, everyone in the fandom came together for the same goal, and we made it fucking happen that day. Like, imagine what we could be doing right now if we had like that same sense of unity. We will be doing incredible things, not only for charity, but like to get it more trending, to make more events, to do whatever. I think that if we had that same spirit that we had last year, we would be doing even better than we are doing now.
Absolutely. Brother Jordan, man, what's your thought on not just November 17th, but people donating to the ASFP, and also just the meaning of us united? Because Fran, he described it perfectly. We could all do so many great things if we all stayed united. Some people laugh at that and think it's just going ring around the rosy like we're all in kindergarten or something. But no, unity is a very powerful thing, and it's one of the things that Justice League is centered around as a whole. What's your thought on that, man?
I think it's great. I think it's, kind of like Zach has said before, it's one thing that we kind of achieved the impossible, getting this movie released that we never thought would be released. It seemed totally impossible to do. That's awesome. But the most important part is that it wasn't just about that. It was about recognizing an issue in society and trying to create change and trying to change the world for the better. And I think that's what superhero movies should do. I think at the end of the day is inspire people to come together and love one another and create change. And I think that's totally what the Snyder Cut movement has done. So, if you're not into the movement, that's cool. But like, don't try to say that, it was just about the movie or it's just about the, complaining or bullying WB. No. It was none of that stuff. It's trying to affect real change, both for people who are struggling and both for artists who get their creative work taken away. So I think it's really beautiful. I think it's awesome. And I remember last year or a year ago, just that high of that day, like that emotional high. We were just kind of all writing that day, that whole week even. And to think that, that was the big moment where the kind of tides changed it's incredible to think about. We all remember where we were, what we were doing. That was the first day that I had ever spent like literally the whole day in bed on Twitter, just in it with the community and everybody. So it's awesome. It's really cool. And I think, we'll definitely remember it for a long time. And I think it'll be a fun thing to tell people like in many years who maybe aren't so aware of it. So yeah, I think it's awesome.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of this stream. We thank you all so much for joining us. Remember, do not pirate Wonder Woman 1984. Do not pirate Zack Snyder's Justice League. Change is going to come, in the words of Martin Luther King. And I believe that the movie will be made available for you all to see. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, subscribe, like, and comment. I will leave a link to Fran and Brother Jordan Ros in the description when this video is uploaded. And as I always say, we'll see you all next time. Peace and stay safe. Bye-bye.